Hello, and welcome to my next Let's Play, Ys 2, or otherwise known as Ancient Ys Vanished, the final chapter. Opening screen isn't as interesting in terms of starting, but hopefully this will be also a very interesting game, just like the last one. It's certainly been a while, from my perspective, that is. So, all I've done is mess with these options to make sure everything is hopefully in order. Let us start a new game for Ys 2. And as with the previous game, I will be mostly role-playing Adol, the Red, as we see what happens to him ever since that white light came at the top of Darm Tower. So let's take a look. As is the case, I will be doing the newer version of the game as I did with Ys 1. So let's continue. Yes. Now I did the first game on normal difficulty, but I'm going to... Actually, yeah, I'm going to use the same difficulty. Who knows, maybe I'll be better this time. I don't know. Hopefully I'm better. Hmm. What happened? Where did... I was at the top of the tower, wasn't I? What are these voices? Where am I? What happened? It's Dark Fact, right? I'm still fighting him. He's shooting those balls of fire at me. It's almost impossible to look away. But the Book of Ys, he has it, right? Wait, what? No, that's not what I'm hearing. I'm not on the tower. I'm somewhere else. Oh. Adol opens his eyes to see 3 people surrounding him in a bed within a house. A girl is speaking to him. He's asked his name, and he gives it. It's still all a haze to him. It was... all he remembered was that he was at the top of the tower of Darm in Astoria. He's hardly paying attention to this conversation as a result. Something about a clinic, a brother. And Adol just can't seem to stay conscious for long, and so he drifts off again into slumber. So after perhaps a week of rest, time isn't something Adol knows adequately at this point. His memories are a bit hazy. The last thing he recalls is that he got... he got the 6th Book of Ys, which is the Book of Fact, written by Fact, the Priest of Spirit. Which talks about the siege and rejoicing and suffering. Prosperity held within a lie, the treasures of Ys, the jewel, and the adamant, as he recalls from his previous. It's coming back to him now, all these factors, and where he got these 6 books of Ys. But where is he now? This room is unfamiliar, although the green is nice. As he leaves the bedroom, he sees a woman sitting next to the window with a teapot and cup next to it. "I'm fine," he says. Quest? What was the quest? Adol decides to speak to her some more. "Do you know anything about Ys?" "Wait, this is Ys?" "Yes, I did." "Well, originally I'm from another place. I came to Astoria, and then... Lance Village. The ruins of Moondoria. She seems to not care too much about his lack of understanding, and continues to treat him quite pleasantly. So, Mundoria, that's where I landed? Ah. There seems to be a mine. This reminds him of the mine near Minea, back in Astoria. So he asks about it. This mine, are there demons inside? Interesting. So there are demons within that place. And mining has become less viable. But apparently herbs can still be picked down there, for better or worse. What about you? How have you been? Oh, I'm sad to hear this. And where is she? I thought I saw her when I woke up about a week ago, but I haven't seen her since I woke up now. Ah, so she's out and about. Alright. Well, I do need to be on my way. I have a task to do. At least I think I do. Although I didn't expect to come here to Ys. I'm fine. Trust me. As Adol tries to leave, Banana catches his attention with a favor, a request. She hands over a letter and tells him to give it to Dr. Flair, whom she mentioned earlier regarding his herb picking in the mine. An illness. Adol is somewhat taken aback. A mother who worries about her daughter is a mother who cares. Something that Adol learned in his heyday as a child. And so, with that in mind, he gladly accepts this task. The clinic. So you haven't told her. He takes a few moments to stand by the fireplace. He can smell the waft of some kind of porridge sitting on that cooking pot. He takes a glance into the kitchen to see what she is doing, and it looks like she's preparing some food. But at the moment, he's already full, having eaten something while he was in bed just a few hours earlier. And so he takes a step outdoors. This reminds him of his time in the village just in Astoria, the port town there. This is apparently Benoa and Lilia's house. And just as that village, this one seems just as quaint. Although in this case, there isn't an ocean nearby. No storm wall this time. Astle and legs. Hot before legs. Hot. Astle, hot, legs. Adol wonders what the reference is, but due to his lack of humor sense, he doesn't quite get what it means. He knocks on the door, and once invited, heads inside. By an old woman, no less. Wonder which one of those names she is. He introduces himself, and she tells him that her name is Caesaria, not either of the names on that sign. That's because she's not the master's. Master Stahl. And Old Man Legs. But they're not related. Well, that just goes to show one should not assume, just because there's a pair of names, that they're married automatically. Very interesting. After bidding adieu, he moves on. Notices a girl taking a stroll outside and talks to her. Eska, she introduces herself. Adal mentions that he's staying over at Lilia's house. And of course, like with all teasing he accepts, it goes right over his head. He has no idea what she's referring to, and so kind of just sort of nods and moves along. Pleasant conversations. Dr. Flair and Laszlo. Adal was walking by when a young man, talking to himself, mentions these names. Apparently they're related to the demons. Iron ore, medicinal herbs. But he's also a married man. Very interesting. Alright. So he takes a look at this house. Oh, this happens to be his house. He asks him if he can head indoors to see his family, and he says yes. He definitely has two very adorable children. Two very identical children. Or at least they look identical. Yes, the resemblance is uncanny. Adal can't imagine himself figuring it out either, even if he was the father. But although their appearances are quite similar, it seems like their personalities are quite different. So after being moderately confused, he moves on to the wife. Ah, so she talks to him about a few things regarding her husband, that he's a miner, and his job is to look for herbs and iron ore in the Restini mine in the ruins of Mundoria. But they're swarming with demons of late. Very similar to the incidences in his story. He takes a quick peek into the bedroom, notices that the twins, despite the fact that they're identical, have two very different colored teddy bears. Hopefully they don't fight over them like they fight over who's the younger one. Nevertheless, Adal moves on. Brody, Beth, and Marina's residence. He knocks on the door before heading inside, after being invited, of course, by a particularly gruff-looking man named Brody, who seems to also be complaining about demons in the land of Ys. And again, that seems to be the topic of conversation throughout this entire town. The mines, they carry herbs, but the demons get in the way, and so these people aren't able to collect them. To be honest, I vanished, or at least a white light seemed to encompass me, and then I just felt myself falling or going up or something. Something happened. Then I found myself here. But otherwise, yeah, I don't remember. Adol's memories are still hazy. He remembers some of the details, such as Astoria, the fact that he needed to find the Books of Ys. Not why, though. That seems to be escaping his mind. It seems unusual. I remembered there were, like, several girls that had an interest in Ys, and a fortune teller or something, but it's not very clear in his mind. And of course, these strange pickups and their unusual noises. At least the little child can count. And this is Gillis' house. He knocks on the door before being invited inside. But even though she did invite him inside, she doesn't like being disturbed. Yes, Adol excuses himself at that point and moves on with his stroll. But then he meets an old woman outside named Lucille, at least after she introduces herself, who claims that there's something in the basement. Adol does remember seeing a door in that house, but not where it would lead. Demons? Considering the rumors, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Adol considers these matters, but decides, considering her nature, best need more than just the word to see what she says about that. A ringing sound? No, I've been asleep most of the time. A bell used to summon demons. Very interesting. Bells do have a certain power, as Adol knows firsthand. Yeah, but yes, they are usually used to keep them away. They're usually powerful protections of divine providence. Very interesting. So some people like to go to the ruins and look at all the ancient architecture. The old stone tablet enshrined within the ruins of Bundoria. The Sanctuary of Toll. It's nagging at him. Was that it? Was that the place he needed to get to? He's beginning to remember that these books are connected to 6 different wise men or priests or something. But again, it's not clear in his mind. As he passes by the well, he notices a young woman trying to get some water, mentioning the mine, of course. 6 months ago, that's when the monsters appeared. The demons and boats and the other miners can't do anything. Ah, this must be the Laszlo mentioned by Boats. Another one of the miners. Or at least a herb gatherer. Oh no, not at all. Again, don't judge your book by your covers, as they say. He's a blacksmith, or at least someone who works with the shop here. Speaking of which, Adol decides to pay a visit to that very shop. He greets Gelda, who seems to be the merchant here, and can see a variety of weapons and swords throughout the shop. He'll come back here later. He doesn't have any money right now. Is this the clinic? No, just another merchant. This time a, kind of like a pawn shop or something. Ah yes, the wings. Those are very useful in getting around. Looks like they have them here as well in Ys. As well as some herbs. Well, at least he used to have herbs, but apparently he doesn't carry them anymore, as the clinic carries them. He'll check out the goods later. So a kid asks him where he's from, as kids often tend to do. Adol decides to give him a vague answer. Far, far, far away. However, another girl is much more interested in cool-looking things and notices the books that Adol carries. Adol keeps the books away as they are fairly unique and quite precious. Ah yes, this must be the clinic. The doctor might be in. As he goes inside, he hears a terrible scream and shouting. The nurse speaks to a young man who comes out of the adjoining room. Dr. Flair. A cave-in at the mines? Oh my goodness, this is an emergency. She's trapped in Restini mine. Adol ponders as they continue their conversation. And he realizes that he just might be able to help them with this. Besides, he needs to deliver something to him. And of course, just as he's about to offer, he is instead pointed out. No need for that. I am more than willing to help you. Of course. Adol readily agrees. For this is an emergency, and one should never say no to such a thing as this. Yes, it seems... Oh yes, I will need the Elder's permission. Hopefully this emergency is enough. But yes, when he came here, he did notice that he didn't have any of his equipment that he had before. He's not even wearing armor despite his appearance here. It's your brother, I see. Well, I will do my best. Adol is a seasoned warrior, so hopefully he should be able to take care of this. Anyway. Screaming? Beneath the village? Oh dear, that sounds also like the bell. Adol wonders what it is. He ponders it as he moves on.